I've never been married or engaged, and as I get older, less driven to connect my heart and soul with any woman. Even if she professes to be in a waltz shortly, I'll be turning 63 and have taken 3 to 8 red tablets daily to resist any romantic feelings. A woman, of course, doesn't actually have to be lonely. She can go out and find a guy with no problem. But she wants the guy that's the cutest that she's ever seen. It's just an exercise in hypergamy. She's hoping that there's a matchmaker out there that can actually introduce her to a man that's outside of her social circle. Remember, before the internet, dating back in the ancient days, the only places you could actually meet people were school or work or social functions that you basically needed to get invited to. This song is just about women singing out their frustrations about there not being enough good men around them. Even in the 1950s, their standards seem to be too high for the rest of this video. I'm going to rant about why women get upset when men go their own way or become confirmed bachelors, as well as the phenomenon that I've noticed where the longer I go without dating or relationships, the less interested I actually have to ever go back to them. Again, the more comfortable I become being my own master in making my own decisions, the less I want them. The longer I spend on my own, the more irritable I am when it comes to being with other people. And the more irritable I become around those people as well, especially the ones trying to control me or tell me what to do. The side effects of going MGTOW monk include increased productivity, happiness, and ability when it comes to other people's actions and thoughts, especially women trying to control me. You're weasel their way into my life. I find myself increasingly only interacting with women in environments where they have to be well behaved, like work environments in professional settings, when you're interacting with the female cashier, sales associate, waitress, or any other hospitality job. She could hate your guts and want to treat you poorly, but she can't because she risks getting into trouble with her employer. For all the guys out there that actually still crave female validation and attention, that's probably your best bet, because she has to be on her best behavior, and her attitude has to be positive as well as uplifting, because her manager is always watching. You have her at that advantage when she's facilitating some sort of product or service for you. But if you see her outside of work, she can treat you as poorly as she wants and get away with it. The thing is, women on the whole are becoming extremely bitter because most of them have to work and have to put on a fake smile and attitude. They also have to pretend to get along with their coworkers and customers, so when they date men, all that negative and hostile energy often gets dumped on the guy. The worst of woman's work environment, the worst sermon elope. Worse are when she actually finally meets up with him, she's being on her best behavior all day at work, so she can be on her worst behavior with you. When she sees you're on her off time, I remember seeing one of my exes work her job, and she was so bubbly and nice to clients, but then she would become cold and uncommunicative around me at home. It used to be that men could actually use force or threat of force to get women. We were dating or married to behave themselves. Obviously, we can't do that anymore, so women don't respect us for any and all power and authority we might actually have anymore. The longer I go without dating or a relationship, the less tolerant I am with regards to these types of monkey business that women try and pull. It's gone to the point where women send me tons of verbal diarrhea in the form of walls of texts, and they're often interested in me, and I have complete indifference to it. I'm like a tired old dog that just wants to sleep next to the fireplace and be left alone in peace and quiet. I would actually say that going my own way has made me far less tolerant of the types of crap that women, and men for that matter, throw my way. It's not that I've become antisocial. I just prefer nice social encounters where I feel respected versus being used and assaulted. Tinder women I've met this year were unpleasant and toxic. Not a coincidence, I thought. As for the title women-hating bachelors, it's fairly obvious why it happens. It usually has to do with the idea that misery loves company, and the idea of a man doing whatever he wants in life makes them miserable because a single man is a free slave. They are taught that men are their servants from a young age, so when they see one of us deviating from that social script, they actually feign outrage. Women despise bachelors because our money is untouchable. If a woman hooks you up with one of her friends, she can use your house on girls' night when it's hosted at her place, or yours, and mooch off of you. But if you don't have a girlfriend or wife, she can't really invade your space. I've spoken before about women invading male spaces, living with a woman, and getting married, like an extension of a female kind on the whole, entering your space and colonizing it. Men colonized the world. Women colonized male spaces with their sexuality. If they can't use that to colonize your space, they're out of luck. All of those male resources are right there, but they're out of reach. They're like a pirate's treasure that can't be found because the man won't give them the map to his heart. Bachelor's taxes have a long history. When you're a man in a relationship, you see it as the man's natural state, and you think every man should do the same thing because it validates your reason for existing in this world. Once upon a time, a man needed to marry because there was no social security. I believe men did their own thing as bachelors and went their own way because they could discuss female nature and male oriented and segregated spaces. They could discuss how terrible living with a woman was with a man whose wife ran off. So many men realized it was better to stay single than go through what that poor soul went through. Other men like Tesla and Newton stayed single because they were too busy doing other things with the world. As a confirmed bachelor, I assumed that if I were still in love with the woman, I would be punch drunk and easy to manage. Women hate bachelors, but men spending time alone thinking, creating, and writing is where innovation comes from, where the true power of what women coined the patriarchy comes. So by stifling man's time alone, they stifle his ability to create new things and express new ideas. He's too busy serving her and womankind, on the whole, to look after his own best interests and the best interests of society. Albert Einstein became a temporary bachelor while working on the theory of relativity. He wanted to be married but still focus on his work in isolation, so his wife would drop off his meals to his study each day and leave him in peace. Over time, I think she lost it because she didn't have a man to nag, because he was too busy working on relativity. Women are like air Jawas striving to equalize the world's pressure. If we could employ technology to create a large-scale vacuum against gynocentric. It's no coincidence that feminism and systemic oppression of men in the West are getting worse as men gain things like adult content and now personal online spaces to discuss MGTOW. We're trying to create a vacuum virtual space of male energy and ideas, and attempts are being made by society to block its continued existence. It's like you're in a submarine and you're moving deeper and deeper until your hull gets crushed. MGTOW has the power to take that pressure away by taking women's power away to criticize us because we understand the game altogether. The pressure will be pointless in our hull. We'll have thickened to a point where we'll be absolutely unstoppable, like a juggernaut that not even Deadpool in his chimichangas can stop. That's one change that can revolutionize human societies forever, away from men accumulating wealth to impress women with meaning and towards a cult of the individual.